listening to Opie and Anthony. On the virus, Sirius-XM.
So you back it onto the lake to make sure.
Well, no, I mean, we're on the lake, and all of a sudden there's an area of water on the lake in the middle of winter. And, if you figure it's okay, but then what happens, along comes my buddy Roman behind me. My bumper's higher, and he's got a Texas bumper, and it's down to about this high off the ground, and he comes through it frontwards. Even, the way after I got back the trailer, bust all the ice, turn the trailer around, drive through forwards, was bumper solo. It's too bad I didn't have a can. He picked all that ice, all that broken ice. He was picking it up with the bumper because his bumper's underwater.
Like a plow, yeah.
And he's got a 89. He had an 89 International, and the ice just built right up his grill till it was literally getting ready to come right over. And he come out of that hole of ice there. It was actually ready to go on top of his hood. He knocked a bunch of lights off and things like that. Like, I couldn't believe it. Holy mackerel! You're pushing that whole wall of ice with your grill.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't understand it. So you got the ice. There's a river through the ice.
There's a river underneath the ice. In some places, there's currents under the ice because in the lake, there might be a river entering the lake and leaving the lake on the opposite end of the lake or crossways. And then you've got ice over top of it. So there's a current running that way. And then somehow that the water gets up on top of the ice. Maybe it froze down to the bottom. Sometimes you end up with only, because of pressures, there's springs out in the swamp. And all the water will start coming up and just start.
How come you don't go through the fucking ice completely into the water below?
Because the ice below was heavy enough to carry me. There was only this much of the ice was bad on top.
Maybe he's doing like 9, 10 inches or a foot. And how thick is ice for you to be able to drive a truck like that on? It has to be.
Well, I mean, when you start building it, it's one thing. There's the guys that build the ice road. There's guys that have to go out and prep and make it. They got to take the snow off it initially. Okay, we're going to have an ice road. So now they get out there into November and beginning December, and somebody's got to go out there and measure it. Okay, we're going to take the snow machine and with these... either with ice augers, which is a manual old-fashioned way, or they go out and they have this electronic gadget that's got radar, looks through the ice. They say, okay, we can get a machine with a plow on. Those snow groomers, the big wide tracks, low ground pressure with the big blade, and then they move the snow off. The snow is an insulating factor. So they get about 16, 18 inches of ice. It depends on who it is and how adventuresome they are and who's watching them do it. They'll get out there, knock the snow off it, and then they'll start moving. As you move back and forth the ice, you start driving the frost in. You take the insulating blanket of snow off, and then the weather itself starts freezing it. And then the water trucks come onto it and start watering it. And then we got portages. Between every lake, every 2 lakes there's land, and it's called a portage. So we cross the land. So then up on the portage, they're full of holes and everything. Like, they don't go there and level them all out. Because you can't reach them in the summertime when the ground's thawed out. So now you come up and you take a mixture of snow and water trucks and graders, and you fill all the holes in, you smooth it over. And so you get like a highway in between and down to the next lake, plow the snow off.
They prep the road.
So those guys, they're 15, 20, they're probably around 20 inches. I've been in 18, 20 inches of water truck, where I have to load water. Got a hole in the ice. I'm loading water half asleep and out there a little bit longer than I should be. And as you're pumping water into the truck is getting heavier, and you're sitting on the ice, and I suddenly realize that the water's kind of coming out of the hole and halfway up my shoe. I'm thinking, what the heck, I think I got enough water. I'm getting out of here and go dump your load, half a load, of course. But then when they take us on there, I think it's 28 to 32 inches of ice when you get the first loads. They take light loads, 5,000 pounds in a tractor trailer, like in a van, toilet paper, insulation, whatever, because they need everything up there. You got 600 men. Prudhoe Bay, got 14,000 men and women up there, so they need everything from toilet paper to heavy equipment parts. They send the light loads, and then the first day, maybe 3 trucks go out, north of Yellowknife, and then maybe 6, 10 by the 15th. You're running 100, 150, 200. By the end of the month, you're running all 800 trucks are starting.
800 trucks going
on a real big year, 12,000 load year. That sometime they'll have somewhere between Edmonton, which is 1,000 miles south of us, and up there in the mines, there's 800 trucks going round and round trying to move the equipment. Well, like you say, between us and Houston. I mean, there's lots of times looked in a bunch of stuff come out of all the way up down the western seaboard. It might even come out of New York if it's specialty equipment. British Columbia, it comes from all over the place. Actually, all over the world, some of the equipment.
Wow. How do you talk
They
about...
went out there in the barren lands, not a tree in sight, in the middle of nowhere, spent over $1.5 billion for a couple of those mines to build a mine. I thought, what the heck, just put the money in the bank and collect the interest. I mean, any interest, anything would be a lot of money.
Building a mine up there.
Went out and built
middle of nowhere. I saw a guy, his brakes went locked up on him. His brakes locked up, and he had to get a torch, and he's sitting out there just banging with a hammer and a torch. And to me, it looked like the worst night you could spend doing anything. It was just...
It gets worse than that.
Freezing cold.
You're under there at 40 below. There was one of your dump valves, and you're underneath the trailer, and you're heating that. and you're turning up your torch and you melt the plastic airlines off, and now you got to fix the airline and then worry about the thing, and it just goes one thing.
Oh my God! So you melted the actual
truck. Up there in Alaska, we've got Lisa Kelly. I don't know if any of you know who. Lisa
yeah.
You guys just watch the guys.
She's the hottie.
Oh, you do watch the girls too?
Oh yeah.
The guys in New York maybe are normal, eh? I heard so many terrible things, about New York. And
no. We like women.
Is this your first time in New York?
Might as well say that.
Might as well.
Second, I was here once before. They just put me by Central Park there in the stall with the horses.
They bet him down with the horses.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. They put me in a hotel. You guys live pretty good here.
That ain't bad.
I don't know who's paying for the hotel. Pretty nice hotel.
Probably a History Channel.
Well, hopefully they don't chase me down the street as I head west.
Alex, you got a lot of fans calling in here. They want to ask about India.
Anyway, the whole thing of having Lisa there and change, you can always get Lisa to help you out.
Wow.
She actually volunteered to help me out one time.
Yeah, she's pretty good with the chains.
I know that. Well, she knows her stuff. The chains weigh more than she does, so there's a math problem.
I saw the episode too where she had to help. I never knew this was done. Up the hills with a heavy load. Got to take 2 trucks.
Push trucks.
A push truck.
You have push trucks coming right into New York here when they're bringing big loads with all these axles.
Yeah.
Like this pilot car guy, this high, wide, and heavy that brought us in. He was telling us they bring these huge loads like axle after axle after axle, and it's so heavy that you need a push truck to push it on flat ground, let alone push it up the hill.
Wow, really?
Like they brought one of those boring machines that you guys make your tunnels for your subway stuff, and they brought one down here and unloaded it in the middle of the night, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to me to be pretty difficult maneuver there to get your bumper right up against the trailer of the other truck. And now you can't see anything in front of you. You completely are depending on the trucker in front.
You're flying by instruments, and you depend on them. You're not supposed to touch the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So
you take your hands off the steering wheel. And it's odd because when the lead truck is turning, your truck will actually turn with it. There's something about coming from that area that makes you, I guess, healthier, strong men.
Yeah, you have to.
You're a real man.
You have to know how to deal with soil and stuff because you could die. we never have I'm going to die weather here. We have it's cold and we run in.
We bitch a little bit.
I thought I seen it on TV at a tornado once right here on the Parkway.
That was recently. Yeah, but that was once. That was once.
They lose their mind. Everybody freaks out about
fine in the
That's
end.
top of Mount Everest temperature.
Well, the fellow that lost his wife probably wasn't very happy about it.
Right. Well, yeah, but I was almost late for the airport because of that. I mean, not to minimize his loss.
So you're really upset.
Oh, my God.
You just blew the horn the whole way.
I really did not handle it well.
Your finger hasn't recovered. That's why I've got a cast on your middle finger. Because
no, that's not why. I wish that was why.
Hey, Alex, where do you guys call home? How far up is it?
Well, my home is in Curtis. We're in Yellowknife Northwest Territories in the North Shore of Great Slave Lake. We've got 3 territories. We got a number of provinces, 3 territories across the top. So you got Alaska, which is America, and then the East Alaska, the Yukon Territory, which is about 23,000 people. Then the Northwest Territories, which is twice the size of Texas, but we only have 40,000 people. Half of us are Aboriginal, mainly Indian people and some Inuit people there. And then you move farther east, it's called Nunavut, and it's mainly all Inuit people or Eskimo people. And when they split the territory, they made it Northwest Territories and Nunavut. We used to say Nunavut and we're the rest of it, but
wait, so 40,000 people in an area that big? Wow.
Well, Canada only has 35 million roughly, which is the population of Mexico, the area of Mexico City or Mumbai,
and it's mostly on the border.
And it's huge.
Point to where you live on the just so we can have.
We're looking at a map.
Well, you're looking there. It says
it's New Jersey.
It says A. Yeah, see A.
That's where. That's where you live.
That's Yellowknife. That's the lake. Yeah, there you got her.
Wow.
So there's the city right there. If you keep going, you're going to see my house. The book is mainly my memoirs, a bit about the family coming from Europe, the carrying on. Trying to get my wife's cousin to put his arm. We tried to do a family portrait one time with a bear. We had a female bear and a cub out in one of the parks, and I talked Fred into going over and trying to get the bear to stand up, put his arm around the bear's shoulder so he could have mom, dad, and the cub. Fred used to have a beard and long hair, and I thought they looked a lot alike. And when he went to grab the bear, that bear went bananas, and I was so busy yelling for him to hang off the bear. I never really got much of a picture. I was laughing so hard to get a picture of a lot of stuff instead of Fred the bear.
That's what fucking men do to joke around.
But the bear, the bear
Jimmy shows his asshole. Jeez, it's the same thing.
Like what the heck? None of you guys been bit by a bear?
No,
I can't say.
No,
heck, I shot my first bear when I was 13. and the first shot went right through his back legs, right through his balls, and then I had to go track him in the bush, and I didn't know enough. I had a 303 Lee Enfield, and I had Savage cells in it, which you do not do because they can explode in the chamber, and I only had 2. But anyway, the bear, I ended up cutting and wrapping and putting them in the deep freeze. An old fat Newton that lived back in the bush gave me $35, which is a lot, about $100 and some because that was back in 60.
Yeah, different.
You know, back in the 60s,
Yeah,
1860s or 1960s. I can't really remember.
So you shot the bear through the balls? Oh, you don't play games.
No, I didn't mean to. I realized that when I skinned him because he didn't. He just took off.
Are you ever scared of animals? Being way up there?
I'm scared. I'm scared of the dark too, but I go out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm scared of lots of stuff.
What kind of animals you got to look out for when you're living up in that area? Obviously the bears.
Well, like if you find a Wolverine in your pants and you go to put them on in the morning, you don't. Well, you just let them have the pants. You're going to work without pants. I mean, you just don't go near.
We don't have to deal with Wolverines.
Everyone will say, "Hey, he must have had a Wolverine in his pants. That's why he's got no pants."
It's better. Ants are better.
Yes.
You have Wolverines up there or no?
There's Wolverines. You got the lynx. Of course, the wolves, moose and buffalo and bear, black bear. Get a little bit farther north, Barren Land grizzly. You get into Alaska. Well, they got the big Kodiaks and stuff there. I mean, you just about barely get through the door.
You a big hunter? You like?
I've got guns. I used to hunt. I don't hunt.
Yeah.
I made a deal with the fish. I said, you leave me alone, I leave you alone. I mean, I drive on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. We're
no
not
revenge.
I'm not. It just costs a lot of money and time. You got 11 kids. Well, I mean, the kids are growing up. The oldest is 38. The youngest one is 11. But we still have 3 at home. We got grandkids in the basement. So you're busy trying to provide, and like it's really easy to go to the grocery store and really
just pick
the wild meat's
well
a bet. We just buy something that's full of all the different chemicals and other things that are in some of the meat we buy today, and you just eat that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a lot of fun memories, though.
Well, I mean,
you've done a lot of things. That's always good.
Yeah, no, I have a real cross section of experience. Which is kind of neat because I meet a lot of people. People come to meet me, and I give them advice about different stuff. I do ministry in the jail. Like I'm a Roman Catholic, practicing traditional Roman Catholic, old-fashioned. I'm not a good example of Christianity, but I'm a much improved version of what I once was. I like to say first because cover all grounds. I'm also a good example of a hypocrite sometimes, which I'm working on really. And but I do ministry in the jail. I do lock up, the whole segregation. Remand stuff like that with the guys, and if the guys want to pray, come pray.
That's a noble thing. Hey, is there a rule on that road where no matter what, if you see someone stranded, do you stop and give a hand? And do people stop for you?
If people need to, we stop. There's some people that don't, but it's still like when we're working in the north, generally people will stop. But there's still guys that don't. I mean, guys will stop. They need antifreeze. Guys will give you their antifreeze, give you their oil. I mean, I've brought guys back. Guys' tractors broke down. You load their truck on her, and if they get a tow truck, it's going to cost a lot of money to get somebody else, hoping that down the road that generally the same guy isn't there when you break down, that somebody else will say, hey, I'll take your trailer, I'll take your truck and help you out. And sometimes you help people out and nobody else helps you out, but that's the way it is. I mean, it's better. Like the whole thing is, if you really believe that the world is a worse place, that means every 6 billion people are all doing a little bit more bad than good. And if you think it's a better place, that means 6 billion people are doing a little bit more good than bad. And the way to make it that way is to do it yourself. And as soon as you become a giver rather than a taker, then you've changed the world. And then one more person, and it'll touch somebody else, and you'll make the world a better place. So you really don't worry about the people that may not come by. And what are you doing, patting my back there?
No, he's saying you got to go because
your son's telling you have to go.
Spot.
You got TV to do. Screw this radio crap.
Look at you all profound and everything. I like that.
It was great, man. And I recommend the book. That's I actually really want to read it now, and I want to watch the show because you're a very interesting guy. That's great.
Well, thank you very much.
Alex Debogorski.
So I can't talk you guys at $20 each or donation for the new teeth. Come on, I can't count under 20, or I'll take 5.
He's got to get out of here. So, King of the Road's the book. Alex Debogorski. Thanks so much for coming in, man.
Have fun in New York.
The Virus. Sirius-XM. This